We built our modern environment as a mechanical grid of perpetual motion. The baseline rhythm of daily life is a continuous wall of engine exhaust, sirens, and thousands of overlapping conversations competing for a fraction of our attention. When that sensory weight becomes too heavy, our instinct is to retreat. We look for a quiet room or a remote stretch of woods, treating silence as an off switch, a clean, empty vacuum where the mind can finally power down. We chase this total absence of sound as the ultimate luxury. Yet if you search the natural world, from the deepest caves to the most isolated deserts, you will never find a completely quiet space. To experience absolute zero, we have to engineer it ourselves, using specialized acoustic rooms that absorb nearly all sound waves. But the people who enter these rooms do not find peace, they find panic. Removing the noise of the world does not create an empty void. Instead, it forces a hostile, unavoidable collision with a soundscape we spend our entire lives trying to ignore. In 1951, the avant-garde composer John Cage walked into an anechoic chamber at Harvard University to listen to what nothingness sounded like. Standing in a heavily insulated, acoustically dead environment, he waited for the absolute stillness he assumed would follow. Instead, he was met with two continuous, distinct tones. One was a high-pitched ring, the other a low, rhythmic throb. The engineer on duty explained that the high pitch was his nervous system operating, and the low throb was the blood circulating through his veins. Decades later, Microsoft built an even more extreme anechoic chamber, registering background noise dropping well below the threshold of human hearing. Nobody can sit inside it for much longer than 45 minutes. Without the background hum of the earth to anchor them, subjects lose their spatial awareness. The brain, starved of auditory input, begins to manufacture its own reality, triggering intense hallucinations. We strip away the mechanical roar of the city, hoping to find peace, only to trap ourselves inside the inescapable, physical machinery of our own bodies. The physical thumping of the heart is only the outermost layer of this confrontation. Beneath the biology, the brain is undergoing a massive, invisible shift the moment the external world shuts down. Looking at this map, we observe the default mode network, an internal workspace powering up when we avoid loud environments. Here, the mind consolidates memories and generates creative insights. But continuous noise actively suppresses this network, starving the mind of resources needed for internal repairs. In mice, researchers observed that just 2 hours of daily silence triggers rapid cell growth in the hippocampus. A quiet room operates as a highly active, biologically necessary environment required for the mind to physically heal and evolve. This leaves us with a stark contradiction. If silence is the essential fertilizer for our cognitive health, why do we dedicate so much effort to avoiding it? In 2014, a team of psychologists led by Timothy Wilson placed volunteers into a completely unadorned room. The subjects were stripped of their phones and books and asked to spend 15 minutes doing nothing but entertaining themselves with their own thoughts. Faced with their own internal monologue, a significant portion of the participants actively chose to press a button that delivered a painful electric shock. Physical pain was preferable to the quiet. Without a screen to look at or a conversation to engage in, the sensory-starved mind amplifies whatever is buried inside it. Latent anxieties, unresolved conflicts, and the unfiltered reality of who we are immediately rush to the surface. We use constant digital notifications, background television, and endless scheduling as a manufactured shield. It serves as an acoustic armor designed to blind us to our own mortality and imperfections. Our modern addiction to podcasts and open-plan offices acts as a profound, desperate flight response to avoid the terror of being completely alone with ourselves. Running from the quiet carries a heavy cost, blurring the line between isolation and genuine independence. Examining this tension, philosopher Hannah Arendt observed that human language provides two distinctly different concepts to describe the exact same state of isolation. The first is loneliness. This is an anxious, painful deficit of connection. It is the hollow void we feel when we are deserted by others, driving us to seek out superficial chatter just to feel grounded. The second concept, which was heavily explored by the theologian Paul Tillich, is solitude. Solitude is a rich, self-sufficient presence. It is the state where a person is fully capable of holding a meaningful, unmediated dialogue with their own mind. Mastering the discomfort of an empty room is the only way to transform the suffocating prison of loneliness into the liberating strength of solitude. The Swiss philosopher Max Picard noted that true conversation always requires a third participant, silence. It is the listening space that gives words their depth. When we lose the capacity to sit quietly, our words lose their creative weight. Our thoughts stop originating from within and instead become mere reactive echoes of the endless industrial noise surrounding us. Choosing to endure the profound discomfort of the quiet forces us to reclaim our capacity for independent thought, forging a genuine understanding of who we are. When the loud world stops talking, are you brave enough to listen to what remains? Thanks for watching.